Oh, this is going to be the toughest question I get all night. I know it. Yeah.
My name is Eleanor Clemens Cope, and I'm a student at Bradley Hills in 3rd grade. I'm going to go to the Chevy Chase Highly Gifted Center next year.
Okay.
I love the group projects in your curriculum, but the math is really repetitive and never challenges a kid like me. We spent 12 weeks on fractions, and so why did you give the curriculum to us before it was ready?
So, thank you, Eleanor. Thank you for your question. I will say the curriculum has been ready, and we didn't give it. It started before I got here, and I love it, so I completely own it. But one thing folks need to understand also about curriculum: it's never done. Curriculum is never done. You write curriculum, you test it out, you work at it, and then you have loops where you're constantly reviewing and refining and revising and making it better. Right? You're constantly doing that. So let me talk a little bit about the shift that's happening with Curriculum 2.0 and Common Core and mathematics and all that. And let me also say quite bluntly, right? We have 132 elementary schools. There are some schools where people absolutely love it, say it's the greatest thing, they couldn't be happier, right? And then there are other schools that look exactly the same, where they're saying, I don't know what's going on here, right? So the experience, there is not one experience that people are having, and it's more on the positive than not, but there is enough. That's the great thing about having 132 elementary schools. You get to see a real range. And in some places, it's working beautifully, and in other places, it's not working as well as we'd like. And we're really digging into why that is, what's going on at a certain school. So there's so many different ways to think about the mathematics challenge, right? Part of it is the standards have changed remarkably. They're just different standards. Kids now, and it's not just in mathematics, it's elsewhere. So kids now are being asked to apply what they know and understand the concepts. It's no longer simply procedural, computation, right? Again, you know, stacks of worksheets, how quickly can you compute? That's not what kids need to know and be able to do anymore. There is tons of not only research, but also public commentary about other countries and why is it other countries are producing mathematicians, scientists, et cetera, and we're not competing with them, right? And part of what the effort around the Common Core has been is to align what we're doing to what's happening around the country, around the world, where kids spend much more time on one or two problems, and they go much deeper because it's all about the conceptual understanding. It's not just about how many can you do, right? It's about, do you really understand how to apply it? Can you describe it? A few years ago, I think it was 2011, I think it was the year before I got here, about 18-month process where we looked internally and had a math work group, and there were many, many people on it. One thing that was abundantly clear was that too many kids had been accelerated too fast, and parents at the high school level were saying, or teachers, I should say, were saying, excuse me, excuse me. My kids are coming in with no number sense, right? They don't understand the math, right? And they skipped all these things. And we accelerated so many kids so quickly that kids were getting to higher levels and they were either dropping it. You know, it's an interesting thing, right? Many people want to be accelerated and don't want to be on grade level because they think somehow grade level isn't good enough, but then they don't mind spending thousands and thousands of dollars on tutors to keep them there. I think, well, I don't quite understand that logic necessarily. And it hasn't been working for a lot of kids, right? It just hasn't been working. It has been working for some kids, there's no doubt. Accelerating kids has worked for some kids, absolutely, but not for everybody. And so what we're trying to do right now is recalibrate. So we have our new curriculum 2.0, right? We're doing what's called compacting in 4th and 5th grade for those kids who evidence the ability to really excel in ways that can't be met within the class. And we're trying to figure out what that number of kids is right now, because being able to compute does not necessarily mean being able to apply and to think. They're different. So we're working through all of that right now. And in every classroom I've been in a lot of classrooms, right? There are kids working in groups of peers on really fun math problems, right? And there are, it is clearly differentiated, meaning that I've seen the teacher working with a group of 5 kids over here on something where another triad over here is going much deeper on the same concept, but because they've gotten it, they're able to go a little deeper. That may not be working across the board for everybody. That's where we are doing work to be in schools so that we can really see. One thing that we've put into our school support and improvement framework is the idea of implementation. Schools are in different places. Some schools it has worked beautifully. And some schools, they're having a challenge. So it may be, and I don't know who your teacher is, and please don't tell me who she is, but it may be that in your school, Bradley Hills, they're struggling in that grade in ways that they aren't in other places. One thing that I think it's the Whitman Cluster has done is organized sharing across schools so that they can try to figure out, because some of our schools have done better than others and they're learning a lot from each other. But I will tell you that the curriculum not only is aligned to the new state standards and their national standards, not only that, but it's aligned to what's going on in other countries, and will finally get us past the really not so great math instruction that's been going on in this country for generations, right? So it's a cognitive challenge, and I think the schools have done a really good job, and we need to do a lot more. If you haven't yet seen the actual differences in the math, that you can look at how long division was being tested on the current 5th grade MSA, and then look at the sample PARC assessments, those are the new ones coming out, and how long division is going to be tested in 4th grade. It is so much harder. All you got to do is look at those. Look at the 8th grade ones. We have presentations on the website. There's information on the website. There's information at the schools. The schools have been doing a fabulous job, I think, of getting information out to parents to help them understand the real difference in what kids need to know and be able to do in mathematics. So that's where we are.